The conservator of American Pickers star Frank Fritz has served his bank with legal documents in order to transfer the star's financial assets to him, while he continues to heal from a stroke that has rendered him unable to communicate. As a result of a stroke that occurred in his house in Iowa in July 2022, Frank, who was 60 years old at the time, was hospitalized and required rehabilitation. Midwestone Bank is Frank's conservator, and his close friend Chris Davis is his guardian. The conservatorship process was initiated in August 2022, and the former American Pickers star was placed under the conservatorship. Midwestone has reportedly ordered that Frank's finances be transferred to them from a separate bank, JP Morgan, because the celebrity will continue to require skilled and long-term nursing care. This information was originally revealed by the United States Sun newspapers. During the course of the litigation, an Iowa judge granted the request. There are now 2 representatives from JP Morgan who have been served with court papers to hand up the money that are in question, as the United States Sun is able to reveal in an exclusive manner. Following the acquisition of court documents from the conservatorship case by the United States Sun, it was discovered that Frank possesses cash assets and credit accounts at JP Morgan. It was claimed in the conservator's initial plan that the assets would be transferred to Midwestone because they would be able to invest to start generating income for Frank. This arrangement was submitted in November of 2022. In the court filings, it is said that since the approval of the plan, the conservator has repeatedly contacted JP Morgan in an attempt to gain access to the protected party's funds, credit card statements, and income tax documents. However, these attempts have been unsuccessful. After repeatedly failing to respond to the conservator, the bank refused to provide access to Mr. Fritz's assets and documentation, and otherwise ignored the conservator's authority, the orders of this court, and the laws of the state of Iowa. In addition, the bank refused to provide access to Mr. Fritz's assets and documentation. In addition, the court filing stated that Frank continues to rely on long-term skilled nursing care. Therefore, it is imperative that his assets are properly managed and wisely invested in order to support his long-term needs. The protected party is no longer in need of consumer credit cards, and any accounts that are still open are vulnerable to fraud. This is especially true given that the conservator is not permitted to access these accounts in order to check charges. The request made by Midwestone Bank was as follows. The court should issue an order compelling the bank to release all of Frank Fritz's funds to the conservator, close all of Frank Fritz's credit card accounts, provide the conservator with Frank Fritz's income tax documents for 2023, and change the mailing address for future income tax documents to coincide with the conservator's address. On the 19th of July, a hearing was held, and a judge made a decision that was favorable to Midwestone Bank. According to the verdict of the court, JP Morgan Chase Bank was ordered to respond to the conservator and provide access to and authority over all bank accounts, credit card accounts, and any other accounts held by or controlled by Mr. Fritz. The investigation is still ongoing. The news that the conservatorship was filed in August of 2022 was first reported by the United States Sun. The documents that were obtained by the United States Sun stated that Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired as a result of his stroke that he is unable to care for his own safety or to provide for necessities such as food, shelter, clothing, or medical care, without which physical injury or illness may occur. According to the statement, Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired that he is unable to make, communicate, or carry out important decisions concerning his own financial affairs. During the time that Mr. Fritz is still recuperating and receiving treatment for his injuries, decisions need to be made regarding his care and placement. For the purpose of preventing immediate harm to him, it was determined that the appointment of a guardian and conservator was necessary. Frank's guardian is responsible for assisting him with his treatment for Crohn's disease, bringing him to physical therapy, and assisting him with a variety of other tasks, such as food shopping and cooking. Regarding the conservator, Midwestone submitted an initial plan that $292 on expenses, with the majority of his budget going toward in-home health care, which amounts to a total of $22,832 in total. He spends a total of $273,984 on medical care per year. Since he was discharged from the hospital in September 2022, Frank has been in and out of rehabilitation services on multiple occasions. In addition, he has been admitted to the hospital on multiple occasions, notably for pneumonia. The celebrity continues to improve daily in spite of the medical setbacks he has experienced. It is impossible to return to 100% after a stroke, but he is doing well. The United States Sun was informed in the past by a friend of Frank's that he is aware of what is taking place. You would be able to make a conversation with him if he were sitting here at this very now. The same old Frank is still around. After suffering a stroke, Frank was unable to move while using a wheelchair. It was revealed by the friend that although he is able to walk, he will always require the wheelchair because he is unable to walk for extended periods of time. You basically lose motion, she said. His mobility was lost. Stroke can affect either the left or the right side of the body. In this case, it afflicted the right side. Reports of death. The phrase Frank Fritz dead became a trending topic on social media in August, which indicates that Frank was the subject of death rumors. It's all a farce, the speaker said. I have no idea where it originated, the source divulged to the United States Sun. Frank has been good, been eating ice cream and watching the Olympics. Last episode, the last episode of American Pickers, which featured Frank, was shown in March of 2020. His back operation, which resulted in 185 stitches and 2 rods being placed in his spine, required him to take some time off in order to recover. In the 77 days that he was away from the show, he checked himself into a rehabilitation center in Iowa for alcohol addiction. There was a disagreement between Frank and Mike Wolfe, who has been his lifelong friend and co-star. Immediately following Frank's stroke, the two were able to make amends. Mike, Robbie Wolfe, John Shelley, and Danielle Colby are now the stars of the American Pickers television show. Beginning in the fall, the new season will be shown.